So we are going there, you guys. We are going to discuss couples on the internet, fake people online selling out, brand deals, just scandals, all of these things that I've never said a peep about. And that ends right now. I have been on YouTube since 2013, before the word influencer even existed, before people were even making money online doing this or knew that it could ever be a career choice. And because of that, because I've been on here so long and I'm still here kicking, I mean, not nearly as relevant as I used to be, but I'm still here. And that gives me a perspective. I've seen a lot. I feel like now more than ever, influencers are getting a really bad reputation. Just that term alone, like, kind of gives me the ick. And I do not refer to myself as an influencer, to be clear. I consider myself a content creator. So first hot topic I wanted to touch on is this concept of fake people, fake influencers who have a persona online and they're totally different in real life, because that definitely is a thing. I am not super social in the influencer community, but I know enough people and I've been to enough events to know that that is 1000% a thing. However, what I will say, I firmly believe that if somebody is online for a long enough period of time, they will be exposed. The truth of who they are and what they're about and what their integrity is will eventually come to light. And I kind of feel that way in general in life. Time reveals. So when scandals have happened over these past 13 years that I've been online and been witnessing, not one of them has shocked or surprised me. Now, with that being said, when a scandal does happen, my biggest takeaway and what I would say is, remember that anyone can say anything that they want. What I say is, look at the person who has the receipts and who has the evidence. That is the person who I am more inclined to believe, because again, anyone could say what they want. What can you prove? That is a major life lesson that I've learned recently, and it definitely applies to influencers and scandals. When they happen, I always reserve judgment and I wait to see what the evidence shows. Now, that being said, when a scandal does happen, I think the best course of action is to completely disengage and move your attention somewhere else. Vote with your views, with your attention, with your time, instead of piling on. This leads me to my next point, something that I see happen and is the biggest downfall of every influencer or content creator. And I've seen this happen hundreds of times. They start off as maybe having a normal job and being real and relatable. Then they start to make more money and they change. They flip and they get an ego. And not only that, they start becoming not relatable. And I understand why that can happen. Like, you can get caught up in it and just it becomes normalized and you start to change your spending habits. From my perspective, like my lens that I come from, I went to college and I worked a real corporate job for a while. It was 50, 60-hour weeks in a cubicle. Like, I have the perspective of knowing how lucky I am, but also I've been doing this long enough that I've seen enough people rise and fall and lose everything that I not only wouldn't take it for granted, but I'm just going to try to be smart and make investments and try and save, because it's like being a unskilled professional athlete. Like, you can get canceled and be out at any time. People can get bored of you. Things happen. So when the ego comes through and I see people spending money like it's candy, I'm like, okay, I'll check back with you in like 5 years. Now, this one is juicy. I have a lot to say about this. Couples on the internet. So the first thing I want to say, we have to remember that in reality, the vast majority of couples break up. You know, they say 50% of marriages break up, but not all of the couples online that you see are married. A lot of them are just dating. The vast majority of them break up in real life, so it's not necessarily weird or surprising that most of them break up, but they're online. And why it seems that way is because people are just showing the good parts of their relationship. So you only see the good parts. You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Now, I think the bigger picture of what happens a lot is that the influencer space is dominated by women. Finally, we get an industry that we get to dominate. And what happens, and it's commonly, I see it happening, is that the woman becomes more successful, maybe is making more money. And if you are with the wrong person, that could make a man feel quite insecure. And when a man feels insecure, they can sometimes lash out in other ways, whether it be cheating, lying, doing drugs, act controlling or abusive, or just being mean. It could be anything to try to get their sense of power back or to get their self-esteem back in an unhealthy way. Now, this does not happen with all men, but I do feel like a lot of couples that I've seen break down, that is what I believe happens like a lot of the time is or can be happening behind the scenes. Okay, now there is this whole backlash of influencers being sellouts and promoting anything and talking about things that they don't even like and all this. What you may or may not know, and this wasn't always the case, but for brands to have enough budget to promote a product, that has to be a decent enough product that there are massive investors. All of these investors would not put their money into a crappy product because the only way that product is going to succeed through influencer marketing is if people decide to repurchase. So all that being said, most of the products, because I have a lot of brands that approach me, very rarely now, I would say in the past 5 years, are the products bad, like genuinely. And I would tell you early on that that was not the case. Some of the products were just absolutely bad. Like remember the flat tummy teas, and it was a wild, wild west. Now at this point, the brands that have the budget, usually they are backing a good product. However, sometimes I feel that those products are too expensive for what they are. And that is where I draw the line. Like if I wouldn't pay personally that amount of money for whatever it is, I'm not going to promote it, especially in this economy. So for example, Nutrafol, they have tried to work with me so many times. And I'm even like, they've sent it to me to try. So I'm using it. I can't tell you if it works or not, but it's so expensive. Like I think it's $75 a month and you have to take 4 pills a day. So I'm like, I wouldn't pay for that. So I'm not going to promote it with this idea that influencers are overpaid. I do have a problem with this one. And again, people might just not know, but the way that it works, and I think it's a little bit scandalous. So brands who pay influencers, there's something called ROI. They track that, return on investment. So if I am paid $100 to promote this brush, the brand, and only the brand usually, has access to that data of how many clicks and how many sales and how much money they make as a result of me promoting the hairbrush for $100. It might be $1,000. I don't actually know. A brand would not pay more than they're worth. If anything, a lot of times they're underpaid. That leads me to my next point. Okay, women, because I know it's primarily women watching this video. I think this is one of the very few things that has a low barrier to entry that moms can do at home and make extra money for their kids, for their family. And it is primarily dominated by women. I think we need to be supporting that. We need to stop vilifying the fact that women primarily are able to come online and make a living or make savings or side money for their families. And the money is going towards women instead of going to corporate, most of the time, corporate men. Okay? I'm just going to say it. So I think that the patriarchy has done a very good job of turning women against each other or having this competitive or just very easily finding reasons to dislike or tear down other women when I feel like we should be supporting it. That being said, because it is now widely known that being online can be lucrative, I do think that there are more people who come online with less pure intentions. So the OGs who started back when I did, there was not even money to be made. Like I didn't monetize, like put ads on my YouTube channel for the first 2 years I was online. I had my first brand deal, I think at year 4. So I was never doing it to make money. I didn't even know that was a thing. Now people very much know it's a thing. So people do kind of come in maybe because of that. If you're going to put the time, I think it's a reasonable expectation that you can and should be paid. But again, I think time reveals somebody's true intentions and you see it over time. For anyone who complains about try being an influencer for a day, it's so hard. No, Like I just flat out no. I told you I've had a corporate job. This is unbelievable that I'm able to do this and for as long as I have. But it is hard. It can be hard mentally and on your self-esteem because your value is decided by other people externally. How many people view your stuff, you look at comments, and that can really get to you, especially if you don't have a very secure sense of self. And I was like riding high for a really long time on YouTube, and my views have gone down over the years, and that really affected me at first. But now I can't describe it. I got to a point where I'm like, I just don't care. Like the people who watch me, they know me, and I'm just going to keep trying to provide value add content, things that inspire me. I feel like my space, my little corner of the internet, if you don't know me well, is super positive. Like I consider my followers my angels, and I've been through so much, and I feel like I was able to get through that because of the support and the love that I've received. And I will say, the last thing I will say, my biggest guilt as somebody who's online as a content creator is if somebody writes to me something very like meaningful, supportive, nice comment, and if I don't respond or if I don't see it, that makes me feel very bad. So just know that. And I do try, but especially in these past couple of years where I've had a lot of personal stuff going on, I was too overwhelmed. So if I ever don't reply to you, please know that that is, I most likely didn't see it. So yeah, if you have any like assumptions or other questions or things I didn't cover in this video that you're curious about, again, just my perspective, put them down in the comments. And if you like this video, I will do a part 2. And thank you for any amount of time that you've been here, whether this is your first video or you've been with me. Actually, let me know in the comments, how long have you been tuned in here? Because I started, 2013 seems like a lifetime ago. Crazy. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, for being here, and I will see you soon with a new video.